How are you guys doing today? This is Drew Clayborn on Your Best You with Drew. And I thank you guys for tuning in. I thank you guys for constantly supporting me. It's amazing, to be able to share my gift with you. And it's just going to be a blessed video. And so thank you. I wanted to come to you today, to truly continue to speak about these laws that a lot of us, I believe, haven't had the opportunity, haven't been privy to learn. And so, I feel like it's my responsibility, to keep on, shedding truth, where darkness is, shedding light where that ignorance is, so that you can continue to grow in your own walk, as I continue to grow in mine. And so it's beautiful, when you begin to learn the laws of prosperity, the laws of success, the laws of truth. These are just universal laws. It's nothing deep about it, nothing spooky about it. It's just, these are just universal laws that people have twisted and abused or are hidden from us, and through my research and through my diligent study and pursuit, the thoughts of the diligent lead to plenty. I've came across, laws that I believe that helps us in life and, will truly continue to bless us. And, I was on one of my videos, I was talking about the bucket, and how whatever we put in our bucket is what we draw out, and our bucket is our subconscious mind, our soul, our heart, whatever you choose to call it, that's just what it is. And we all possess one. And, in these laws, that govern the earth, it's so imperative that we understand them, because without them, we'll operate off of emotion and reaction and response and instinct like animals. And we'll never understand, how significant and how powerful that we can honestly be through our thinking. And so I remember talking to my counselor, Dr. Yeshua, and he was, giving me this story about years and years ago, him and his team, and they were out traveling, and they came in this country, and they came across these wise traditional men, per se, so to speak. And it was so amazing because he was sharing with me how we get so caught up in tradition, man's tradition, as opposed to these laws. And these traditions are basically like our emotions that we try to say or set as laws, but they're not laws. And they were coming in, and they were just came into the town, and they were hungry, and so they sat down, to eat, and they overheard, these traditional wise men talking about how they didn't wash their hands or clean their hands before they ate. And so, Dr. Yeshua, being the king that he is in his own right and his authority, he began to talk to the men, and he said the things that goes in a man's mouth, that's not what defiles a man. He's talking kingdom laws now. He said that's not what defiles a man. He's putting all the notions and ideas of these traditions, out the way. And he said that's not what defiles a man. He said, where does murders and revelings and envy and adultery, he said, where do those things come from? He said they come from the heart of a man, meaning that we have thoughts and we have ideas. Y'all gotta stay with me on this one. We have thoughts and we have ideas, right? And we may have one thought, that's okay. But when we begin to have repetitive thoughts over and over and over again, those thoughts become implanted in our subconscious or in our heart, right? Or in our soul. And eventually, inevitably, we act them out, right? That's just the law. As a man think in his heart, so is he. That's just the law. That's nothing I'm making up. That's something that I'm giving you so you can begin to understand this, right? So he's saying, like, where does murders come from? That's not a thought that somebody had one time. Someone who's committed murder, they had those thoughts over and over and over again, whether they were consciously or unconsciously programming themselves. Where does adultery come from? Talking about, man, you didn't think to cheat on your husband or cheat on your wife just that one time. That wasn't your initial thought. You thought that over and over and over again until it got so embedded inside of you that you had to act on it. And so he's saying that what comes out the heart, that's what defiles the man, because that's the law. The law is not me eating with my dirty hands. That's not going to defile me, because I'm not this body, I'm a spirit. But what defiles that man, or what defiles us in the world, is truly what comes out of us. And that's why King Solomon said, keep your heart, or keep your mind, or keep your subconscious, or keep your soul with all diligence, means protect it. Take heed of what you listen to. Take heed of what you hear. Take heed of what you watch. Take heed of the conversation you had. Why? Because out of it, out of your heart, out of your memory bank, out of your subconscious, or out of your bucket, springs the issues of life. So that's where murders come from. That's where revelings, that's where adultery comes from. That's where lying comes from. That's where envying comes from, because we have consciously or unconsciously allowed things to be embedded or permeate our souls, right? And so what Dr. Yeshua was trying to explain to these traditional wise men who thought they knew it all was that these aren't the things that defile us. The things that defile us are not the things that go in, but the things that come out. Well, that means that we have to become conscious or cognizant of the things that we are allowing to enter into our soul or our subconscious mind. It's law, right? So now let's go on the contrary, right? Let's use this law or this principle for good, right? And so that means that in order to be successful in life, in order to be prosperous in life, in order to have the desires in our heart in life, right? That means that we must begin to put in, right? We must begin to put in the information or the understanding or the wisdom or the ideas of where it is that we desire to be in life. This is law, right? So for instance, right? When I was 300 pounds and I was growing up my entire life on the side of obesity, I would always be teased, you know, growing up as a child, you know, what up, fat boy? You know, look at big booty Drew, you know what I mean? Drooby dooby with the big booty. And so unconsciously, what was going into my subconscious or my memory bank or my bucket was the ideas of being fat. It wasn't until God spoke a word and gave me a revelation on how I can actually adopt or accomplish the lifestyle of health and wellness. And so I'm sharing this with you to say that it is our responsibility to recognize that these laws have no respect of persons, right? That means that it doesn't matter what religion that you claim to be. It doesn't matter what ethnicity you come from. It doesn't matter what economic status that you're in. What it's saying is that these laws were created before the foundation of the earth was laid, right? And the reason why it's so important for us to understand these laws is because everything in life that has order is governed by laws or rules, right? It's like, for example, when you go to work, there are certain rules that you have to abide by in order for you not to be fired, right? In society, we have certain laws, like, for instance, if you're driving down a 25-mile-per-hour school zone area, right? And you decide emotionally that you want to drive 50 because you are late and you get pulled over. See, when an officer comes to you, all he has to do is hand you the ticket. He doesn't have to listen to your emotional excuse on why you were late or why you were speeding. Law is law. I hand you the ticket. Have a nice day. So we constantly see, right, the law of gravity. You know, we constantly see these laws operating are governing the earth. So for instance, if you were to choose to go up on top of a building, you already know that the law of gravity is going to say, if you step off this building right now, young man or young woman, you're going to hit the ground hard. That's just the reality. So if you respect that law, listen to this law. I changed my life by understanding the law, understanding that the information that I had in me was flawed. I was supposed to be healthy. I was supposed to prosper in health as my soul prospereth. I was supposed to be in shape. This is natural. I've never taken supplements. I've never taken steroids to do anything. It's all natural. But I changed the ideas that were in my bucket, because ideas become ideologies. Ideologies become philosophies, and philosophies become your lifestyle. And so it's our responsibility to understand that these laws are working whether we're paying attention to them or not, whether we respect them or not. These laws are constantly in effect. They're constantly working. And so what Dr. Yeshua was trying to explain to these traditional wise men who had these man-made laws, what goes inside of you or what you eat, that's not what's going to destroy you. Even though we have obesity out there and high blood pressure, so forth and so on, that's not what's going to destroy you. That's not what defiles you. What defiles you is what you're placing in your heart, what you're allowing to go in your heart. The ideas that's infiltrating your soul. What ideas are those? That's what you have to ask yourself. Where you are in life right now, you are simply living out the ideas that's been placed in you from either your parents, either your peers, or either society. And so in order for us to operate in the fullness of who we are, who we were created to be, we have to change our ideas, which will change our ideologies, which will then change our philosophies. And inevitably, it'll change our lifestyles. So this is my assignment to you. I need you to sit down and begin to write down the desires of your heart, because again, that's another law. Write the vision and make it plain. So I need you to begin to write down the desires of your heart and begin to see in your own life, are the ideas from your favorite artist that's coming through your favorite music, is it congruent to where you want to be in life? Are the ideas that are coming from your favorite actor or actress in the TV programs that you daily watch, are they congruent to where you want to be in life? Are the conversations that you're having with your peers or your associates or your coworkers, are they congruent to where you desire to be in life? If they are not, you need to begin to check them off. And if you can check them off and say that they are not congruent with where you desire to be in life, you must begin to change your ideas. Because the ideas that's going inside of you are impacting your life. You said you wanted a job before. So you thought about a job, you researched a job, you called around for a job, and you got a job. It was an idea. Now you're working it, you're living it, you manifested it. So it's the responsibility of you to change your ideas. Because once you change what goes in, as far as the music, the videos, the audios, the conversation, the TV programs, once you change those, your life will change. In order to be successful in life, you must put in successful information. In order to be healthy in life, you must put in healthy information. And invariably, we'll begin to live it out. Thank you for tuning in. I love y'all. But remember, it's not a look, it's a lifestyle. Because we do this every day, not to impress people, but to leave an impression on the earth. Share this video with at least one person, because the law is we reap what we sow. Thank you, and God bless.
I can't sell my soul to you.